Hey, welcome back. It's me, Lou. And for today's drawing exercise, we're going to do just that. We're just going to do some drawing exercises. So today's about more so just being fluid and creating stuff that's organic. It's not necessarily about creating really detailed or finished drawings. And I was in the mood to draw, not necessarily draw, but more so to sketch and doodle. When I was younger, especially like in high school, I spent so much time when the teacher would be up at the board, like especially like in, I don't know, my math class. The teacher would always be explaining what the assignment was or teaching us something new, and I'd kind of be lost, and I'd just be like this doodling or sketching in my notebook. When I was supposed to be actually writing down like theorems and equations and all sorts of boring stuff. And I found that was, for me anyways, that was one way I was kind of grew as an artist, was just by constantly sketching and drawing. And some of the best artists, I'll tell you that today, you just need to be drawing every day, every moment. But I've kind of gone the opposite route. Like, I don't really draw and sketch unless I need to. But I mean, it doesn't mean I don't doodle, but I should be drawing more often than I should. So today we're just gonna be looking at that. I just feel like this sketching and this loose drawing, nothing that's gonna look necessarily super clean or finished or detailed. For me, it's just about being fluid and just creating and getting those creative juices flowing and just seeing what I could put from pencil to paper. Right. So one thing I always enjoyed doodling in my notebooks in school was I always just drew profiles of people's faces in the like off to the corner or in the margin of my pages. I don't know why. It was just something I just always kind of did. And I'd normally just start by just doodling an eye. I'd start. There are always just profiles of like a male figure, so I'd always just draw an eye like this, and then maybe I'd come in and just try to figure out where the nose would be. I wasn't necessarily concerned about stuff like the proportions or if stuff looked right. For me, it was just about just drawing, just being fluid and creating something. And I find for myself, anyways, that sometimes some of the most interesting compositions or doodles or sketches always come about from me just drawing a lot of random things. Sometimes when I try to think too hard and try to force something to come out, it doesn't always really happen. But when I'm inclined to just sit down and just doodle, sometimes I get the best, or at least they're not always necessarily the best results in terms of like the most refined or the best in terms of like technique or anything like that. But in terms of what I produce, for me anyways, producing something that's more spontaneous and interesting, I don't know, it just seems more interesting to me than something that's a little bit more elaborate and thought out. Yeah, so I'd always just end up drawing all these just profiles of people's heads and faces, and maybe to mess around with hairstyles or something. And sometimes it looked right, and sometimes it wouldn't. Sometimes the proportions would be off, or the head might not look what it's like. This, like for example, this right here, the ear is too big and it's too close to the rest of the head. But I don't really care. It's not about creating a perfect composition right now. For me, it's just about just I don't know, just creating and just drawing. But this is this is bothering me. I gotta move this ear back. And then his eyes make me crazy now too. This is where my OCD gets I don't know, souped up to like overdrive. I initially I didn't want to start with creating something that's going to look too refined, but then as I'm drawing along, I'm starting to see parts I like, and I'm like, I should fix this. Now, right now, this is nothing in particular or no one in particular. I just feel like drawing a, kind of pseudo male profile. Let's fix the bridge of his nose just a little bit. All right. There's certain rules, I guess, when it comes to drawing like perfect faces. About a face is, if you're looking at head on, it's going to be so many eyes wide, and the nose is going to be so tall. But I kind of like imperfections in faces. I don't think no one necessarily has a perfect face. That ear looks really big, doesn't it? Okay, so here's my profile of the dude. He's coming along. There's the back of his head. I'm not very clean. I know sketching isn't necessarily like a clean way of drawing, but there's some people, when they sketch, they draw really clean lines and really graceful forms and curves. And for me, I just have to just keep on like doing these weird small chicken scratches until the form actually comes out. And we'll give this guy a thick neck, and here's his shoulder. Some neck muscles. All right, it's not perfect, but it's here. I don't know how I want to draw the ear. Okay. Do we give this guy eyebrows? Yeah, sure, why not? Eyebrows are one of those things that, to this day, I still don't know how to draw a decent eyebrow. So my eyebrows are very, when I draw them, they're very angular, and they kind of have these, I don't know, sharper corners and edges to them. All right, let's figure out what kind of hairstyle this guy's gonna have. Maybe just keep it simple. Let's just, I don't know, slicked back. I think the ear should have been put back. I don't know, something's not looking right. All right, so that's kind of gives me an idea of what his hair might look like once I start putting it in. So like I said, this is going to be more so just about loose gesture and just experimenting and just, I don't know, just being creative and just doing something. Like, I wasn't really in the mood to draw anything too detailed or refined. I just felt like drawing. I knew I wanted to draw. I knew I didn't want to draw anything too specific, and I kind of wanted to make this more of a fun exercise for me than something where I kind of like felt pressure to like produce something really, I don't know, not necessarily extravagant, but I just wanted to kind of take a break from just, I don't know, pushing myself a little bit too hard. Okay, so do we work on the hair first, or let's block in some of these big shapes first. Let's get us draw the contour line of his face here. I remember one time I was doodling. I'm not. She's probably not watching this video, so I could probably share this story. So, like, this was probably about maybe like 9 or 10 years ago. I had to do jury duty in the city, and then there was this really cute girl there, and then we were talking, and then she had like a notepad with her because I think she was taking notes during whatever it's called, the deposition, during the I don't know, during the trial or whatever the hell it was. And then she was like this. I noticed that in her notes, she kept on doodling all these like little tiny sketches, and it's kind of funny because we were both doodling and sketching the same thing. Because I noticed that she was just sketching and drawing eyeballs, and then I don't know. It almost sounded like a bad pickup line. I'm like, oh wow, you're sketching eyeballs too. And then I pulled out my notes, and here I was sketching eyeballs also. So it was just a really bizarre and weird coincidence that, you know, when we're supposed to be paying attention to this trial, we're both in our separate corners in the jury box, and we're both doodling and sketching eyeballs. So I thought that was funny. It just seemed like, I don't know, it seemed so out of like left field. It almost seemed like I said, like a bad pickup line or something. But it's true though. I mean, here she was sketching eyeballs, and I was sketching eyeballs. And if she's watching this video, I hope she doesn't remember that story, because then, you know, that's a dead giveaway. Like, oh yeah, okay. Okay, so all right, so I'm drawing this out. All right, so those are kind of like the major features of his face so far. So like I said, this isn't perfect. This is more about just being loose and just, I don't know, I was inkling to draw, so I'm just going to go with that. Okay, should we play around with this hair? Why not? This is where I'm probably gonna mess up the drawing. Says I just want to be loose about this and to see what I could come up with. I'm gonna give this guy longer hair because we're in the pandemic and he hasn't had a haircut for a while. A little bit of sideburns. Okay, so we kind of see his profile, right? Right. Okay. All right, let's start. This, I don't know, not necessarily adding detail, but let's just add some contrast and volume to this a little. All right, so I'm gonna give this guy darker hair. All right, this is where I'm starting to mess up. I shouldn't have. There's certain lines here that aren't crossing over right for me, and I don't know. It's not working, but it's like I said. This is supposed to be just about fun, and it's not like a serious drawing exercise. This is about being loose and just creating something a little bit more organic. And if it happens to look like something by the time I'm all said and done, you know, more power to me. But if it doesn't, that's all right. At least I got some drawing time in. This guy has such long and wavy hair. this guy looks like he's totally out like in the 90s. Oh, I'm not happy with this so far. I think I could still salvage. There's my line work in the hair is getting really sloppy. I mean, it should be, but I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit tight in my wrist right now, so it's not like these lines are coming out as graceful as I'd like them to come out. This almost kind of resembles if you read comic books during the 90s when they killed off Superman and they brought him back. They gave him long black hair. And for some reason, this kind of reminds me of uh, long black-haired Superman. So I don't know. Maybe let's go with that. Maybe this is this long black-haired Superman. All right, yeah, we'll call this. This is this is 90s Superman. That's what we're drawing right here. 90s Superman profile. Superman's one of those characters where his look always evolves with every generation. But I think that's true for every superhero. Except I'm just very fond of his costume just being very basic. It seems like every generation feels a need to update it and make it look a little fit in with a more modern aesthetic, or at least what's modern at the time. But his classic costumes, that's always going to be evergreen. That's always going to be timeless. But I can understand the importance for people wanting to put, inject their 2 cents into something and, make it their own somewhat, but at the same time also add something new to the lexicon. Yeah, so, okay, we're saying this is 90s Superman, profile of 90s Superman. Now, 90s Superman, he actually had a black costume, so, I don't know, we can say that this is his black costume. We'll just draw, here's his neck, and we'll figure that out later. Yeah, so this is this, for me, this is me being loose. It's kind of like some of the earlier videos I did like a few weeks ago with like the Venom and stuff, where I'm just drawing a lot faster, and I'm not necessarily too concerned about the line quality as opposed to just getting the point across of what the drawing's supposed to be. And there's a part of me that I think once I reach a certain level in this drawing, I am going to go back and try to just not necessarily clean it up, but just kind of make it look a little bit neater in certain areas. Alright, so this is a profile of 90s Superman. Now I'm going to come in and try to add some details. Let me see. Nothing too heavy. I just want to... do I want to give him eyes? Maybe. Alright, so I'm just going in here. I'm just blacking in his costume a little. Okay, so that's all right. It's not the greatest drawing in the world. It's far from it, but it's like I said. I just wanted to just goof around and just sketch something tonight. I wasn't looking to create like a Picasso or the Mona Lisa. I just wanted to flex my drawing muscles a little, just to keep them working. You know, anytime you get to sketch is always fun. I mean, that's the important thing, as long as you keep it fun. I think if I kind of forced a drawing out that I didn't want to do and made it work, I'd be like, I'm dreading this. I don't want to do this. If you're looking for something a little bit more detailed like my last drawings, I apologize, but this is what I was in the mood to draw today. I just felt like drawing faces and 90s hairstyles. It's looking all right, ain't it? This looks decent. It's not bad. Could be better. It's funny in my head when I first started, before I put the pencil to the paper, I was telling myself, you know, I just want to draw a small little head that's gonna be like this big, and next thing you know, I fill up the whole page. So right now I'm just adding a couple of fine lines in the hair just to give the illusion that there's fine lines in the hair. Alright, there's my pretty generic profile. We'll say it's 90s Superman because he has long black hair and he's wearing a somewhat black costume. It's like I said, this wasn't supposed to be a detailed drawing by any means. It was just me having fun drawing profiles and faces and just rambling and rambling. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It's not a crazy video. It's nothing too intense. It's just mellow and laid back of me just drawing this handsome man from the 90s who will say kind of looks like Superman with long hair like he looked like back in the day. Alright, thanks for joining me again. I greatly appreciate it. As always, my name is Lou, and today is the 14th of March. Thanks for dropping by. Hopefully I'll come up with something a little bit more engaging and interesting, but this was what I felt like drawing today. If you get a chance to sketch and draw, go for it. And I hope you're doing well, and take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.